May I ask for a big hand of applause for Mira, the amazing speakers, and for yourselves being here today. And also, not only for our human friends, but our dog friends that are in the room. If you haven't met her yet, you don't know what you are missing. So thank you, Mira, for having us all today here. The subject of today's discussion is common ground. I'm Greek-Turkish, and in Greece I enjoy very much saying so because people find it difficult to handle this. Finding a common ground is very important in many, many ways, and it's very important for people that come from this part of the Mediterranean. It's amazing. We live together for thousands of years, maybe 1,000 years, and we still can't find a way to communicate in peace. So the work of Mira, of Damla, with the DNS is helping heal this major problem of our planet. Also, you must admit that I may win the prize for the most confusing or weird title in today's presentations. I'm going to try to show you that happiness is all about sustainability. Just give me a few minutes and I'll try to do that. Let me first say that I'm a founding member of Sympraxis, a member of DNS, an agency that does sustainability. We are a change agent as well, and we work wherever we are invited to, in Cyprus, in Greece, in Brussels, in Costa Rica. And some very generous clients allow me to be here today, and I thank them all for doing so, like Google or Deutsche Telekom or Philip Morris International. In order to start my presentation, this bottle lid is quite important. I'm sure that many of us, probably most of us, are avoiding plastic lids these days. We use our own bottle, and this is critically important because as a humanity, we cannot understand the big picture. What are the implications of a plastic bottle for the environment, for the endangered species, and if I may say so, among all about ourselves? We all know that we consume one single credit card every single week. There is plastic in our blood, there is plastic in our lungs, and nobody knows really what will be the implication of this. If we are lucky, you can never know, we can disappear as a species because of plastic consumption. That would be good fun, one could say. We live in an era of unbelievable wealth. I'm sure that you don't know who this lady is. She's a Greek queen. She lived about 150 years ago. She's Queen Amalia. Queen Amalia had a lot of palaces. In one of her palaces in Athens, there is a very interesting exhibition proving that you and we are simple people, not very wealthy, not very poor, we consume much more resources than a queen 150 years ago. So we are very wealthy people, actually, and we don't realize it. And it's quite confusing that even though we are quite wealthy, we feel depressed. Every research indicates that people in major cities, to start with, feel depressed. The social media contribute to our depression. What can one say about television? If you watch television, you are doomed to depression, and I think that's a fact for all of us. We live in an era where our world is turning into a depressive environment, and there is a reason for that. And the reason is that happy people do not serve the economy. If you are happy, if you do not need to cater for your needs through consumption, what will advertisers do? What will the economy do? We are in a time where advertisers harness this issue through fear. And what is fear in this respect? How do advertisers promote skin cream, for example, anti-aging skin cream, saying that if you being old is something bad, it's something terrible, the most natural thing on planet Earth? How do they advertise mobile phones? They say that if you use a mobile phone which is 1 year old, you are not trendy anymore, you are not you are not competitive, interesting, rich enough. While a mobile phone, which is 1, 2, or 3 years old, is a very useful machine. So we are forced in consumption through fear. It's the same with buying security, private security. We are told that there are so many dangers out there, unbelievable dangers, while we live in the safest period humanity has ever seen. Terrorism is extremely low. And we feel, because of the media, that terrorism is huge on planet Earth, which is a big lie. It has been more than 20 years since the last time somebody died in an airplane hijack. Actually, more people are killed because of gun regulations in the United States than in terrorism in the rest of the world. So it's a confusing fact. It's quite a confusing fact. And what is more confusing is how can it be so simple for advertisers to harness our fear for the benefit of the products they sell? And the problem is about the fact that we are paranoid creatures. And this is a scientific fact. What does it mean? We were designed in our current form about 200,000 years ago, when we were a species which didn't have big clothes, we didn't have clothes, nails in our hands, we didn't have a major armor, we didn't have teeth that were extremely strong, and we had to get protected by wild animals. We had to find shelter and get protected from the environment. We had to fight for our food. There were so many dangers, and this amazing machine that we have in our head was constantly trying to find dangers to protect us from. That was 200,000 years ago, and for most of us, those dangers are not valid anymore. Most of us, we are not worried about whether we will have food to eat in the evening. We are worried about whether we will have sushi or Indian meal. And in the same time, our brain remains the same. It hasn't changed. So what it's actually doing is constantly trying to find dangers to tackle, to deal with. And this is leading to the simple problem of overconsumption. The problem of our planet is not climate crisis. The problem of our planet is not the war in Ukraine. It's not even the fact that 800 million people, co-humans like ourselves, will sleep today with an empty stomach. Everything starts from the fact that we connect dealing with our emotional inefficiencies through consumption. We don't buy cars in order to go from here to there. We buy cars to feel strong or free, especially men. We don't buy a washing machine to wash our clothes. We buy it because advertisers connect it with family, with union. And the question is there a way to deal with this problem? There is only one way, to my understanding. And this single way is about self-consciousness, self-awareness, and much less consumption. If we don't go towards the direction of self-awareness, we will end up with huge electric SUVs, while we need to promote public transportation, while we need to promote walking, cycling. Thankfully, self-awareness, self-consciousness is rapidly accelerating on planet Earth. Yoga is an indication of that respect. About 10% of Americans are practicing yoga today. And what is yoga about? It's about non-greed, non-possessiveness. It is about non-stealing, among others, from our natural environment. It's about practicing what is our true nature, true essence. The same consciousness stands for other practices like veganism. And I'm not supporting any direction. I'm just practical about the fact that in order to produce 1 plate of meat, we need to feed the animals with 100 plates of vegetable-based food. It's not viable. One very interesting factor that we need to insist upon is the fact that 72% of yoga practitioners are women. Also, 75% of vegans are women. I hope that you get the correlation to where I'm going to. Another consciousness practice that is part of the solution of tackling the challenges of our planet is meditation. Obviously, again, more women practice meditation. Meditation is looking within and finding solutions within instead of trying to find solutions without. Realizing that our true happiness doesn't lie to the next iPhone. I hope nobody works in a big corporation in this room because they have hated me already. Realizing that our emotional happiness doesn't lie in the next huge electric SUV that we will find, but it lies in our relationships, in our friendships, in our families, in our dogs. If you haven't met that dog, you must meet that dog, and that's a fact. Even though there is a message, don't pet the dog. It's an amazing friend that makes your heart being emotional and kind, and there is no comparison whether an iPhone can do so. Endorphins may work for a while, but then we become resistant to endorphins, while we never become resistant to a dog. And also, it's very important to realize that Mother Nature always provides with the solutions for every problem, including this one. As you most probably all know, this formation of the birds is not accidental. It's not just because it looks nice. It's simply because in nature, a survival mechanism is working together. What we really need to do together. Why you applaud yourselves, the speaker, and Mira today. You know that the birds that are most tired are on the back of the pack so that the pressure, the air pressure is lighter and they have to try less to fly. And there are so many examples in this respect. Let me see if this video will play. It will not play. I'm sure that my colleagues will help me by pressing start. This is a pack of fish. Can you please press start from the presentation? They form this amazing mass, huge mass, so they are not eaten by predators. And we still, as human beings, we are idiots. I didn't want to swear, by the way. You know that the word idiots comes from the Greek word idiotis, which means selfish, being focused to yourself. So by saying idiot, I didn't intend to insult anybody. Simply, I just wanted to point out that we need to learn to work together. In the last couple of years, humanity has made important steps in this direction. What we did with the pandemic, with the development of medicines, was a miracle. Even what we are doing in Ukraine is a better performance for what we did before. Even the SDGs are a step forward on working together. And in this phase of this presentation, which is actually 3 hours, and I try to compact it in 10 minutes, I tell people that working together is a major factor of our best interest in many, many ways, one of which it has to do with living many, many years. When I ask people, what do you think is the best way to live many years? They say, quit smoking, quit alcohol, and practice sports, where at the end of the day, social integration, being part of a community, has much more positive results in this respect. In Greece, we have an island which is called Ikaria, where people live 100 years. And their social integration is impressive. People, they open their shops and they go for coffee with their peers, with their friends, and you go in and you get the food that you want and you leave the money in the counter. And there is nobody there to check you. So in my belief, and I have been working myself for many years in the field of sustainability and sustainability implementation, we need to break the vicious cycle of dealing with emotional gaps through consumption. We are all aware of that. And it's really great that in the last years, practices like well-being, coaching, veganism, yoga are growing, probably to help tackle the social and environmental problems of the planet from within than from without. I will finish. If I didn't run out of time, the nice lady is not standing. Apologies for not remembering your name. I want to share a video that broke my heart when I watched it, and I hope that it will break your heart, and I hope our translators, our excellent translators, will be able to read the English below. So thank you very much, and the video.
Qué guapa. ¿Tú también?
Pues una persona muy importante en mi vida.
Un compañero de vida de 10.
Sí, justo nos lo hicimos antes de venirme yo a Madrid.
Fíjate que lo te voy a decir, pero yo creo que es el único amigo que tengo.
Estás soñado,
Amigo.
Un hermano.
Gracias a ti me ha cambiado un poco la vida, como quien dice.
Y si no estuvieses, no sé qué haría sin ti.
La rutina, los horarios.
Ve por distancia. Él está en Barcelona, yo estoy en Madrid.
O sea, realmente no nos vemos más por mi falta de tiempo.
Y siempre ha sido como una incertidumbre de cuándo será el próximo momento en el que nos volvamos a ver, ¿no?
Es una contradicción, no cabe duda. La gente afirma que sus seres queridos son lo más importante, pero la distribución de su tiempo no lo demuestra así. Esto tiene que ver con el modo en que funciona nuestro cerebro. Estamos programados para evitar pensar en el tiempo que nos queda por vivir. Así tenemos la sensación de que siempre tendremos la oportunidad de hacer las cosas que nos hacen felices. ¿Con cuánta frecuencia os veis?
Una vez al mes,
Bueno.
A lo mejor 2.
una vez, yo qué sé.
4 veces contadas, yo creo.
Sí, o 2 veces al año.
O 2 veces al año.
Yo 25 años.
32.
39. Yo 38.
Yo 47.
Y yo 44.
¿Sabéis que con lo que nos habéis contado podemos calcular el tiempo que os queda por pasar juntos?
¿Ostras?
¿Queréis saberlo?
Sí, por favor.
Sí.
Me parece muy poco.
No, es un poco, ¿eh?
Eso es muy poco.
Qué terrible, ¿no?
Súper poco. Eso no es real.
Eso está mal. No puede ser.
No me imagino no volver a verle.
Esperaba años, no días.
Pues hay que hacer algo.
Ya.
Hay que hacer algo.
¿Cómo perdemos nuestro...? Porque lo perdemos. O sea, perdemos el tiempo haciendo cosas que no nos hacen felices.
Y que no cuesta tanto, que no vivimos tan lejos.
Que ese día vale más muchas veces que todo el tiempo del mundo. Voy a aparcar el móvil y intentar dedicar mi tiempo a las personas lo máximo posible.
Vamos a aprovecharlo.